Üks turgusid, millest me kohe hakkame rääkima või õigemini kuulama järgmist esinejat Helmut Merkelit, see on Saksamaa turg. Saksamaa turg on perspektiivne turg, nagu me uurimist kuulsime, see on suur turg, ta on mõneti juhtiv turg ja see, mis seal toimub mingil määral, vähemalt Kesk-Euroopas ikka väga paljut mõjutab. Kõige lisaks, olgem ausad, nüüd kui disainist üle minna, siis mulle tundub, et ka isegi mõneti maitset. Ja sellepärast ongi meil täna hea meel siin kuulata meest, kes sellest teab väga palju, oskab meile seda ka siin täna natukene rääkida. Ta juhib juhtivat Saksa eriala ajakirja ja jutt on siis Mööblitootjate peatoimetajast härra Helmut Merkelist. Helmut, floor is yours, please. Väga hea lüsitis.
Yes, hello. As you heard from the moderator, my name is Helmut Max Merkel and I'm editor-in-chief of Mööblitootjate, of a furniture trade magazine from Germany. And I'm also a general manager of a consulting company, CRP, which is specialized in the furniture business, especially in the international furniture business. So I had the pleasure in the past also to work for Estonian companies and to take care of them when they were participating at IMM Cologne, the big fair we have each January in Cologne. Yeah, Mööblitootjate, the magazine you can see on the screen. Unfortunately, you cannot see the complete cover page. The top is, I can see it's just cut off, but anyway, if someone is interested in the magazine, please give me your business card and I can send it to you or I can give it to you later after the presentation. It's no problem. Yes, my topic is the furniture market in Germany and in Europe, but especially in Germany. I also will talk a little bit about the situation in some other countries, or I will compare German companies with European companies, but the main focus will be on Germany and on the German market, on the German retail sector, which is interesting for you if you like to enter the market, or maybe you have already some experiences, maybe good, maybe bad experience in the German market. And I also talk about Germany, not because I'm German, but Germany is the biggest, the most important market in Europe. It's one of the biggest and most important markets in the world, and also the industry is still very strong, and as you can see later, it's still competitive despite all the big competition around the world. Yeah, the subtitle of my presentation is Germany, a Fortunate Island. Of course, this is full of irony if I put this question, but I have chosen this subheadline because the situation in Germany was definitely in the past years very different from other markets. I always heard bad comments on Europe when I was outside of Europe. So suppliers from, for example, from Asia, they told me, no, we stopped the business in Europe because Europe is very bad and the demand is going down, and they were complaining a lot. And very often it was necessary to explain that, of course, we have Europe as a continent. We also have a European Union, but what we don't have is a European furniture market, because we have a lot of markets and they are very different. They are different in business. They are different in the mechanism of the market. They are very different in the results, and they are still very different in the taste and in the design people like to buy. But later I will talk about design, but only a little bit, because I cannot compete talking about design with the former speaker there, not. Let me just give you some information about Germany. I'm sure you know a lot about the country, but maybe some important and some less important information may help you to understand a little bit better what's going on, and also what you have in mind if you want to enter the market or if you want to be successful on the German market. Yeah, we have in the moment 82 million inhabitants in Germany. You can see that I was writing in brackets decreasing. In the moment it seems it's not decreasing, but it's not because the Germans are having more babies. There are other things happening in the moment, and yeah, people are estimating that we will have around 1 million people more in Germany very soon. Some are afraid about this, but still the majority is, yeah, let's say, happy, because we have the same problem what you have in Estonia. We have the problems that the industry cannot find workers. Young people do not like to go to the factory and to produce a sofa. They prefer to do something different, white-collar jobs, as everywhere in the world. We have more than 40 million households. It's an increasing number. The population is decreasing, but the number of households is increasing. So we have more and more single households. It's very interesting also for furniture manufacturers or for retailers, because these households have special needs, different from a family with yeah, 2 parents, 3 children. They need completely different furniture compared to a single lady or a single gentleman who has a 1-room apartment, who is looking for new furniture which must be multifunctional, doing a lot of different jobs in his room. The per capita living space is 43 square meters. It's more than ever. And maybe only a funny number, or maybe uninteresting, 60% of all apartments or houses have balcony or garden. Maybe it sounds completely uninteresting for you, but it shows the growing demand in the future for outdoor furniture, which is a good business, and which is one of the few sectors in the furniture industry which is growing in the moment. Yeah, as you can see, if you look on stage, Germans are getting older. More than 30 million Germans are more than 50 years old. Half of them are older than 65. The generation plus, 60 plus, or the silver generation, we have, I don't know, I'm sure you in your language you have also some special words for this generation. It's a very interesting but extremely heterogeneous target group. They have a higher purchasing power in general as the young people, but they have very different interests and different tastes, and they're definitely different from the generation 60 plus 50 years ago. Today, this people with 60, they buy the first motorbike, for example. They put off the tie and put the leather jacket on, and they have a complete different feeling of life compared to 50 years ago. They want to spend money, they want to enjoy life, they travel a lot, and they also want to have a nice and cozy home. The general situation in Germany about economy, it's for this year we expect a growth rate of 1.7 to 1.8%. Fact is that in Germany we never had a real crisis compared to other countries. Of course, the economy was also affected, but it was not a crisis like in other countries, especially in Southern Europe or in Ireland or some other countries. The people living in Germany never could feel in their pocket that there is a crisis. That's a fact. Just to compare the situation in Germany and the German market with some other markets, I don't want to talk too much about it, but only that you can see what crisis means in some selected markets like Italy. The market volume for furniture was decreasing by 7% in 2013 and again 4% in 2014. Or if you look at Spain, the market volume decreased between 2006 and 2012 60%, and 50% of all Spanish retailers disappeared in this period. We never had such a situation in Germany. We had a lot of problems, but not these problems what people or what the furniture people in Spain had. But on the other side, we also can see that, especially in the past months, that there is a slight recovery on the Spanish market. We can see it from the growing demand from Spanish retailers, Spanish buyers. But of course, it's coming up from a very, very low level. Compared to Italy or Spain, we always had a turnover, a sales volume in the retail sector in Germany was all the years approximately 30 billion. Last year it was 31 billion. 0.3. It was a plus of almost 2%. And in this amount of more than 30 billion euro, we have also kitchen and home accessories. If you take away kitchen and home accessories, it's 14 billion euro. As you can see, kitchen are very important for the furniture market. 20.8% of the market are focused on kitchen, 18% on sofas, 12% living and bedroom furniture. The online furniture sales, it's very hard to give exact numbers on this, but some experts believe that it's 1.5 billion euro, 4%. Some experts say it's a little bit more, but everybody is sure that this the share of online business is growing in the next years. We have approximately 8,000 furniture retailers, which represent 75% of the total sales. Other channels, distribution channels, are, for example, mail order or what I just said before, online business. More than 80% of the members of the retailers are member of a buying group. This is something very important, and I will come back to this point because if you want to make business in Germany, you should know more about buying groups, what they are, how they work, and what they expect. But buying groups can be a topic for a 2-day seminar, and also after 2 days, I'm sure everybody will have some questions because it's a very complicated topic. The total sales area is in the moment 23 million square meters. That's a lot. And it's still growing. Interesting is also that the market is getting more and more splitted in the low-end discount market. cash and carry market, and the medium to high-end market. Not the high or highest end, but medium to high end. Talking about the low-end market, 25% of the business is generated by discount markets, like maybe you have heard about Roller, about Poco, about Boss, very big companies doing the business in this segment of the furniture sector. And we have a high concentration, and also in the retail sector. The top 10 retailers represent almost 50% of the total sales volume in Germany. And this concentration will go on, but we also have another trend, going to smaller shops, to specialized shops. I will talk about later about this. 2002 we had 116 stores, bigger than 25,000 square meters, and 2014, 12 years later, we had 165 stores, bigger than 25,000 square meters. We have the biggest stores are Mööblitootjate and Mööblitootjate. Both have around 75,000 square meter, and the funny thing is, the distance between the two stores is just around 10 kilometers. It's almost a walking distance. So sometimes you cannot understand the competition, what the big companies are doing, why they are doing this. Yeah, everybody wants to be the biggest and wants to have a bigger market share, but if you think about it, you cannot really understand why they do and why they invest so much money for example, in a small area to build up 2 stores with this size. The stores, this is one of the big stores, Mala, I just was talking about. They are much more than just a furniture store. A big variety of products they are selling there, not only furniture, but of course kitchen, home accessories, kitchenware, tableware, home textiles, carpets, flooring, gifts, toys, yeah, almost everything you can use in the house or in your home. All these big stores have restaurants, big restaurants and coffee shops. They organize special events like a concert with classical music or with some popular music. They have special holiday programs for children. They organize Christmas markets and so on and they do a lot to attract the consumers. Sometimes in my eyes, they are more innovative in offering such additional programs than in the presentation of the furniture, because the big problem is that most of these big stores have similar products. They have also the stores are the construction of the stores is very similar. In fact, we have only 2 big architectural offices who do for all the companies the new constructions. So it looks very similar. You have on the floor ground you have the accessories. Then on the first floor you have the bedroom furniture. It's everywhere the same, and it's a little bit boring. Just a short view on the top layers on the German furniture retail business. Number 1 is IKEA. As much as I know, you don't have IKEA in Estonia? Not yet. What I heard, that people are going to Helsinki, buying there and bringing the furniture back. Yeah, in Germany we have almost 50 IKEA stores. And it's a real success story if you see that the turnover is more than 4 billion euro. So it's almost double as much as the number 2. And why IKEA is so successful? I don't think it's the product. The products are similar to other stores. It's not the quality. The quality is similar to other stores. It's also not the price. People believe it's the price, but in fact it's not the price. I think it's the perfect marketing and the perfect presentation. I think especially in marketing and in the presentation of the furniture and of the furnishings, they are much better than all the competitors. They have a much better know-how and they invest much more. But it's crazy and funny if you talk about people. Most people know that it's not cheaper. Most people know that the quality is not better. Most people know that the service is worse than in most of the other stores, but everybody is going there and everybody is buying there. I always compare it a little bit with McDonald's. Everybody knows it's not healthy. Everybody knows it's not cheap, because if you eat a Big Mac, 10 minutes later you are hungry again, so you spend another €2. Everybody knows that there is no service, but everybody is going there. I think it's a little bit similar. Then what's very interesting on the second, in the ranking on the second place, the Lutz Group is an Austrian group, which is extremely aggressive in the moment, not only in buying new stores, but in buying companies from competitors. And they just in the last 6 months, they were buying, I think, 4 big competitors, or maybe not buying completely, but buying 50% of the shares, and so they will do more in the future. Then you also can see the big low-end and discount companies, like the number 5 Tesla with Tesla Group with Roller and Poco. And you also can see in this ranking we also put some online companies, e-commerce companies, to show which market volume they represent already. Maybe it's not easy to read this, but you can have all the materials from me, including this ranking. This is the European ranking, where you can see where the German companies or the companies which are making business in Germany, where they are in the European ranking. And again, you have IKEA as number 1, and Steinhoff, a former importer, a German importer and manufacturer, is now an international working company based in South Africa, and owner of, for example, of Conforama in France, or owner of Kika in Austria, and he's trying to catch IKEA. I don't know if it's possible, but he's on the way to number 1. But as I told you, you can have the complete ranking, and then it's better to read and understand and study the figures. Yes, I just told you that more than 80% of all German retailers are members of a buying group. I tried to explain it in a few words. I'm sure I cannot do this, but I try. It was in the 50s and 60s of the last century that the retailers started to do the sourcing together to get better prices from the industry. And in the past 50, 40 years, we had a lot of buying groups coming and going, and but at the end we have a small group of buying groups which are really dominating the market, and which are also interesting for international companies like from Estonia if they intend to enter the German market. It's one of the most important keys to the market, because more than 80% are members of buying groups, and this means that many members rely on the decision of the buying group. We have 6 important buying groups. We have around 20, but some are specialized in kitchen, some are specialized in high and highest end. But the most important players for you are the 6 here in the middle. It's Begros, Union, and Giga. They are yeah, they are representing the big players in the market, the big stores with 20,000 square meters and more. And these three groups, they are only focused on a good price. They don't do anything else. They, if you are exhibiting in Cologne and maybe they come to your booth, so a group of this, or some people of this buying group, some purchasing managers coming to your booth and checking the products. And the first thing they ask is, what's the price? The second is then they will tell you this chair is too expensive, we cannot buy. They are really not interested in the product. They are not much interested in the design. They are only interested in a good price and in a very deep price. The second group is Europa, Alliance and Einrichtungspartnering are also very big buying groups, but representing medium-sized, more medium-sized retailers, medium-sized to, yeah, some big members. I would say these three groups are the most important for the Estonian industry, because they are also looking for specialized manufacturers for special types of furniture, and are really interested in new suppliers more than the others. And the last group, MZE, GFM, and Garant, they have hundreds of members, but most of them are small retailers. So it's a little bit, yeah, less interesting for you, because normally they don't do business outside of Germany. If they buy furniture from other countries, usually they buy it from importers. As I told you, the first three buying groups are only interested in a cheap price. The others, they are also interested in a good price, of course, but they are also doing a lot of marketing for their members, because otherwise the small, medium-sized retailers could not survive in the competition with the big stores. So they make the promotion, they develop the marketing concepts, and they help a lot to that smaller retailers can survive. Without the buying groups, we wouldn't have around 8,000 retailers. Of course, buying groups are a big problem for suppliers because of the price negotiations. But on the other side, without buying groups, we wouldn't have the variety of retailers in Germany. Just to have a short look on the German furniture industry. The turnover was in 2014 16.4 billion euro. It's still under the level of 2008. 2008, 2009, we also had a big problem and a big decrease. But it was a plus compared to 2013. We have 500 manufacturers with 20 workers and more. So the number of manufacturers is going down. It's different from Estonia. It was very interesting to hear that the number of manufacturers is going up despite all the problems you have. The turnover per manufacturer is also interesting. If you compare 2014 to 2005, it was growing in this period from 25.6 to 31.8. So also in the industry we have a concentration. The German exports are growing despite a strong competition. So until now it seems that the reputation of Made in Germany is still very good. Nobody knows what will happen in the next weeks and months. I had already some discussions with international business people from the furniture business, and of course everybody was asking me about Volkswagen and if this is also possible in the furniture industry. And maybe in the moment it sounds like a joke, but I'm a little bit afraid that at the end it will not be only a joke, because I'm sure that I think also Leonard will notice if you travel around and you talk to people in other countries, it's unbelievable for them that something happens in Germany. If you are German and you live in Germany, you know it's not unbelievable. But maybe if you look from outside, maybe it's another perspective. Also, the imports are increasing. More than 60% of the furniture sold in Germany are coming from other countries. And of course, number one is Poland. Number two is China. Last year, 24% plus, and on the third place is Czech Republic. Interesting will be what will happen with China. In the moment already, people say it's no more possible to buy sofas in China because it's too expensive. The transportation cost, you never know what happens. In the moment, transportation is low, but tomorrow the container can go up again to 3,000 or 5,000, the transportation cost. But especially the labor costs are a very hard problem. We heard the labor costs in Estonia. 4 weeks ago when I was in China, people told me that the costs per worker, including taxes, in the southern part of China is 850 US already. So the gap between Eastern European countries or maybe in the Baltic states or Turkey to China is shrinking. Why the situation in the German furniture business is better than in other countries? Of course, there are economic reasons, but I think it's also a part of our culture. Germans always wanted to live in a good atmosphere, in a cozy home, in a nice home. I think this is different to people in France or in Spain, in Italy, generally in Southern Europe, where people prefer to live outside, and in Germany we have other weather conditions, so it's different. We always try to what we say, my home is my castle, so a nice home, and I think this will continue. There will be no change in this cultural habit. A very short look, because I just can see that I'm over time, about the design trends, because you should know it when you want to make business there. At the moment, everybody says we have a trinity of design, quality, and material. The combination is important, not only in the high-end segment. Then trends, nature is a very important trend in the moment. Green passion is affecting the choice of materials. As I told you, consumers want to have a cozy home. They prefer harmonic shapes and colors. But I said that the taste is different in the different countries. But there is another trend, a global trend, especially in the bigger cities. I think the young people, 20, 30, maybe in the 40s, the taste is getting closer and closer, despite all the local differences we still have. Wall units. They were very famous in German homes and houses, but now they are getting more flexible, more individual, more intelligent, with more functions. They must be compatible with home entertainment systems. They must have, if possible, LED lighting. This is a German company. And oak is still number one in very different colors. You know, 50 years ago, oak was the typical German wood. Then the next generation didn't like to have oak anymore because people didn't want to have the same furniture as the parents. Then oak was disappeared completely, and since maybe 10 years or 8 years, there's a renaissance, and now it's number one. Then this is Yeah, sofa trends, also in Germany, people prefer now to sit a little bit softer. In the past, there was a big difference. For example, France, soft seating, and then you were crossing the Rhine River, coming to Germany, and then it was very hard. Then function, a sofa without function is not a sofa. It's a German saying. Only in the lowest end you can sell a sofa without a function, but normally there must be at least one function. Sometimes the sofas has so many functions that people do not know how to handle it. It's the same like with your mobile. You only use maybe 10% of the things you can do with the mobile. Then the mega trend. If there is a mega trend in Germany, then it's box spring beds. In other countries, box spring beds were famous and were sold for many years, especially in the Netherlands. And in Germany, it started 4 or 5 years ago. Nobody knows exactly why. Some people say, okay, people are traveling, so they are sleeping in a good bed in a 5-star hotel, and it's a box spring bed. But I think 10 years ago, also people were traveling already and sleeping in a box spring bed. I don't have a real explanation for this, but we have this trend, and everybody in the mattress industry is happy about it. But not everything what is sold under the name box spring is a real box spring. That's another problem. Yeah, furniture is getting more colorful. White stays important, but losing market shares. In the past months, we realized a little renaissance of black. So I want to tell you much more, but I have to stop now. Vielen Dank. Aite.
Aite. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Merkel. Actually, during your presentation, you have given us a lot of advice already. And definitely, I'm sure that people will turn to you during this conference in couloirs, and they will have a time to ask particular questions.
Okay.
But one thing which I'm still astonished is this size issue.
What?
Size issue. Both retailers are very sizable, and actually even producers are also very sizable, and there is a concentration going on. Now we are looking at the sector here, Estonian export sector, which is good, well-doing sector by itself, but still small-size players.
It's a good question, because it brings me to a point I wanted to mention, but I didn't dare to talk about because of the time. You're right. We have a concentration in retail sector, we have a concentration in the manufacturing side. But the concentration in the retail sector is much, much bigger. This is the first thing. So the industry, the manufacturers, are very weak compared to the retail sector. The retail sector has the power, only the retail sector. We will have more concentration in the industry too, because of this power of the purchasing side. But, and this is very important, we have the concentration in the retail sector. We heard about it. Big companies are getting bigger and bigger. So it seems maybe it's for a small or medium-sized manufacturer from Estonia, it's not possible to make business. This is completely wrong. On the one side, I just was talking about the buying groups. These buying groups are now working out new concepts, new marketing concepts with specialized manufacturers, and they don't want to have the big players in some European countries. They are looking for smaller, flexible manufacturers, and yeah, they want to have a close partnership. This is the one thing. And beside the big retail companies or buying groups, we also have still some smaller retailers or retailers who are member of a buying group, but who also want to make their own decisions. They want to buy by themselves maybe 25% of the volume, and to have a special offer for the customers. So there is I think there is now a better situation for small, medium-sized manufacturers in European countries like Estonia. And another thing is that what I told you, I know that you have a good and strong sofa industry, that many buyers, also from big retail groups, are looking for alternatives to China, especially for sofas. They are going to Romania, they are going to other Eastern European countries, they are going to Turkey, and they're looking for alternatives, especially for sofas and for dining sets.
But wouldn't these buying groups, having a certain strong purchasing power like they have, wouldn't it lead us also to conclusion, logical conclusion, that also producers should somehow combine their sales efforts? Let's say putting together a kind of collection from different producers of Estonian origin to sell to buying groups?
There is a chance for a cooperation with manufacturers, with that, for example, dining set manufacturers. Some of the Germans, they are producing in Germany, but they also look for partners in the industry in other countries. And this can be a chance for Estonia too. The same is for sofas. Okay. And another thing is, I was surprised that I didn't hear anything about it when we got a report on the market here in Estonia. In many European countries, also in the Baltic countries, I know that especially Chinese companies manufacturers are knocking at the door looking for European manufacturers they can invest in, and they can maybe buy or merge or whatever.
Okay, to penetrate the market in such a way.
Because they realize it's not possible anymore to produce special products in China, especially sofas. So if they want to be in the European market, they must produce in the European market. And this means either they build up a new factory, but the better choice is to go around and check if there is a manufacturer.
Yeah, and with good price-quality ratio, which is much easier, of course. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much again. And thank you. I hope that you will be tackled very much during this lunchtime.